Now, of course, that is the positive side, if you like, of the Chinese challenge. But the Chinese also have shot themselves in the foot a little bit because, during COVID, they have also shown the other side of the story. And the West has started to push back. There's been a kind of awakening in the EU, in the Western world, in the United States, not exactly to follow the old Trump line of seeing China as an enemy and going for a kind of neo-containment or a new Cold War. Tony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, said in London just this week that the US does not certainly see China in those Cold War terms. But as the EU would put it, certainly not seeing China just as a trading partner and a source of cooperation, but as a systemic rival. This is the term that is increasingly being bandied about. And the sense that the Chinese have sort of overreached has led now to a distinct reaction. And this is global, which is not necessarily good news for China in terms of creating too many enemies too quickly. I mean, first of all, obviously the United States has now woken up to the Chinese competition in a way that after the Sputnik launch in 1957, suddenly, bingo, the United States woke up to the technological space competition from the Soviet Union and then launched the Apollo program to get back on top. And Democrats and Republicans in the United States differ about most things, but they agree when it comes to the fact that the US has to respond now more aggressively to the challenge of China. But in Europe as well, you had in the last couple of days something unthinkable, which is the EU imposing sanctions on 4 Chinese officials and 2 state entities because of the repression of the Uyghurs. This led to the Chinese putting sanctions on 5 members of the European Parliament. But that now has led to the European Parliament suspending the approval of the EU China Investment Pact, the CIA, the Comprehensive Investment Agreement, which the EU spent years trying to investigate. So why would the Chinese put sanctions on 5 MEPs, knowing full well that that's only going to torpedo a beneficial investment pact with the European Union? The UK and Canada have followed on in the first ever sort of joint transatlantic sanctions imposed on China. The Australians have now started to punch back as well. The Philippines this week swung from China back towards the United States after complaining about the numbers of Chinese fishing boats near the reefs that the Philippines claims. There is almost a kind of universal sort of sense of now being much more cautious and vigilant with China. The Indians, of course, had a bit of a wake-up call when they had some border clashes up in the Himalayas recently with China on the disputed line of control. The Indians retaliated by banning a large number of Chinese apps. So, as the Soviet Union found out, even if you are a formidable power, it's not necessarily a good idea to have so many adversaries all at once as well.